Honorable Speaker of the Senate, Cabinet Secretary Kian Jury, the Cabinet Secretary for Planning and Devolution, His Excellency Salim Buraya, our host, and a governor who is transformational on many counts, His Excellency Governor Nanok of Turkana County, another champion of great change, High Commissioner Nick Haley, Ambassador Stefano De Jacque of the European Union, Cabinet Secretaries present, Excellencies, Governors present, all protocols observed, good morning. Let me start by first of all congratulating the newly arrived governors and the governors who've been re-elected. That re-election means you've made a difference, and that's why you're back. And for the newly arrived governors, the sky is the limit. I think devolution is the key to Kenya's transformation, to Kenya's fight against poverty, to Kenya achieving the Vision 2030, to Kenya becoming a prosperous high-income country. I want to now specifically congratulate all the ladies that have become governors, deputy governors, and have gone into positions of responsibility. I hope this becomes the start to the two-third gender process. I hope we see a Kenya which becomes a beacon of hope when it comes to issues of gender equality. In this very country last year, President Kenyatta, together with the former UNDP administrator Helen Clark, launched the Africa Human Development Report. That African Human Development Report was about accelerating gender equality and women's empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, the figure is clear. Sub-Saharan Africa loses $95 billion because of gender inequality. In Kenya, for every 100 Kenyans that are employed, there are 81 dependents. Half of them are women and girls because they've not been allowed to achieve their full human potential. Let's get together. That's the only way Kenya's prosperity wheels will start. So let's get together to advance the gender equality issue in this country. I want to commend President Kenyatta on his Big Four. That Big Four is what is going to transform this country. The Big Four is where we will see real change, because President Kenyatta once said that youth unemployment is an existentialist threat not just to Kenya but many parts of Africa, and he's absolutely right. Today, every day, by the time you woke up in the morning to the time you went to sleep, 3,000 Kenyans were born. Every year, 1 million Kenyans are born. Every year, 1 million Kenyans from the age group of 15 to 24 join the workforce. Every year, 100,000 new jobs are created. And you have a large number of your young people going into the informal sector, and there's this feeling of despondency, hopelessness. Those are the change agents that are going to make Kenya the most prosperous country in Africa. So what did the United Nations do? We sat down as a country team 1.5 months ago. 27 UN agencies came together, and we've come with a Big Five to support President Kenyatta's vision of the Big Four. And here are our Big Five. First and foremost, how do we help the county governors and the national government in terms of technical assistance and support for the creation of 1 million jobs per year, so that by 2022, we can actually help Kenya achieve a target of 5 million jobs by 2022. This is going to be critical. It's going to be the game changer. Secondly, universal health coverage. 1 million Kenyans go into poverty every year because of a catastrophic health shock. Fantastic that the President has embraced universal health coverage as a priority for his legacy term. And we are going to work with him, with all of you, to make it happen. Just 3 years ago, a 6-county initiative was launched to reduce maternal mortality in Mandera, Wajir, Marsabit, Lamu, Isiolo, and Migori. Just these 6 counties together contribute to 50% of Kenya's maternal deaths. What we saw was, under the leadership of the county governors, under the leadership of the county CECs, supported by the national government, we were able to see a reduction of close to 1/3 of maternal mortality in these counties. On a general scale, it takes 5 to 10 years to get that kind of reduction. So I really want to congratulate the governors of these counties. I really want to congratulate the people of these counties, and particularly the leadership of the First Lady, the President, and the Ministry of Health in making this happen. The third part is a focus on zero hunger, or what he called food security. A county like Turkana alone has enough water underneath which can provide fresh water to all of Kenya for the next 70 years. We need to have irrigation dams, etc., built up from there. We can actually make just the northeastern frontiers of Kenya food surplus. Kenya can be a food surplus country. Ladies and gentlemen, by 2030, that's not far away, agro-business will be $1 trillion worth. Smart thinking that food security has become an issue. If Kenya wants to get rich, this is an area of investment, agro-business. Why? Because Kenya's population was the same as Sweden in 1956, 7 million. Kenya's population today is 46 million. Sweden's population is 10 million. Kenya's population by 2030 will be 65 million. By 2050, 85 million. The population of Africa will be 2.3 billion. Which means that the demand for food is going to be there exponentially. So by the turn of the century, we are going to see a planet which is going to have a huge number of people. The population of Africa by the turn of the century will be 4.2 billion, and as I said, by 2050, 2.3 billion. This is the moment for us to make those investments. We get it right. There should be never a farmer or a pastoralist whose death of an animal means the death of livelihood. No, we should have enough of abattoirs, we should have enough of tanneries that should be able to convert these into leather, and we should be able to export leather throughout Africa and throughout the world. Here is where the real opportunity lies. The next area that we want to work with the government and with the county authorities is in the area of the prevention of violent extremism. Ladies and gentlemen, let me draw you to a recent report that the United Nations Development Programme did on the journey to violent extremism in Africa. It actually debunks the myth that this is related to a particular religion or related to a particular fraternity. No, it is related to unemployment, lack of opportunity, despondency, marginalization. We interviewed close to 1,000 prisoners from the Al-Shabaab, from Boko Haram, from ISIS, and what we found was very interesting. A lot of them only got radicalized after they joined those groups. That's another area that we want to work with you on. And finally, for Kenya to achieve the real potential, a country whose median age is 18, over 70% of your population is less than 30, the sky is the limit of what you can achieve with this youthful population, which means that women have to have a choice in the way they can plan their families so they become productive in the workforce. Once the household income starts to improve, the macroeconomic picture improves exponentially. And that's where we want to go with you. So to me, as the UN resident coordinator to Kenya, I can assure you that the entire 27 UN agencies are fully committed in this journey of the Big Four with the President and in the way devolution is going to work. So please count on us as your partners. And once again, we are looking at a Kenya which by 2022 will achieve all the Big Fours. Thank you.